Alright, all you Streetlight Crusaders, and I guess a couple of you wrestling fans who are up for tonight, welcome back to the Tuesday Night Special. And now it's time for us to talk about what happened during this week's edition of Monday Night Raw from Cleveland, Ohio, home of The Miz, I do believe Dolph Ziggler when he wants to be, and of course, the Drew Carey Show. Cleveland rocks! Cleveland rocks! Cleveland rocks! And Maestro currently is telling me that is on TV right now as we speak. Oh, the irony of it all. And besides the Drew Carey Show, which was cool on ABC when it was on the air, and on TV now because it's currently on as we speak, Monday Night Raw would kick off with none other than, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, ready to run down his last team member that's gonna be a part of Team Flair for their big match and crown jewel. And the last member of the team would be none other than the Scottish Terminator himself, Drew McIntyre. And McIntyre would promise Ric Flair that things would get uncomfortable tonight during his return match against none other than the one and only Ricochet. And would even tell him to get a front row seat to bear witness to what he's gonna do to him. And during this match, action will go back and forth, including Ricochet doing some pretty cool high-flying moves, but then again, the Scottish Terminator grounding him like nobody else could by not only countering his rope-hung move in the corner with a kick right to the jaw, then also pulling off a very, and I do mean very impressive, axe handle smash, smashing Ricochet out of the skies during the said match. But Ricochet, still able to fly during this match, would be able to pull off a shooting star press for a near fall. But unfortunately for Ricochet, it was at that one moment where his high-flying license would be canceled by the Scottish Terminator, who would be able to do a disgusting cross powerbomb into the corner and follow it up with a nasty Claymore kick for the Scottish Terminator to terminate another victim in well over 2 months via pinfall. But after the match was over, Drew McIntyre was not done delivering a message to Team Hogan and would continue to beat the living daylights flag tag out of Ricochet by not only doing a glass cow kiss headbutt and also going back to his chosen one days with a future shock DDT and even doing his inverted Alabama slam to Ricochet into the stairs. Ouch! Ouch! And then would celebrate inside of the ring by making fun of Hulk Hogan with his classic poses that he would do in the ring. Man, I feel a little bit bad for the team of Team Hogan after that little stunt. But besides Team Hogan, folks, the next thing that we have up on Monday Night Raw would be another match that would feature none other than Aleister Black going one-on-one against Jason Reynolds, who I do believe is neither the cousin or the friend of Ryan Reynolds or somehow related to Burt Reynolds in some way, shape, or form. But did he pick up the fighting style of both of those gentlemen during any of their action movies? Absolutely not, because during the said contest that seemed a little bit one-sided for my liking would see Jason Reynolds only being able to pull off a shoulder tackle into the corner, only for him to suffer not only a kick combination, a nasty Sagat Tiger knee to the face, and then ultimately would fade to black due to a black mass right to the jaw on the button for Aleister Black to win this match in quick fashion via pinfall. Now, what will happen to Jason Reynolds? Who knows? But besides of what's gonna happen with Jason Reynolds, which might get solved with a DLC pack or a created character in the near future for 2K20, the next thing to take place on Monday Night Raw would be an episode of The King's Court that would feature none other than Rusev. And Jerry the King Lawler would ask the tough questions, wondering what's going through Rusev's mind after the in-ring and out-of-the-ring scandal with Lana and Lashley. And Rusev would rebuttal by saying he knows that Lashley is corrupting Lana, and he still wears his wedding band around his finger to have some form of happy ending with Lana in the future, but before then plans on crushing Lashley. And speak of the devil, after saying the whole thing about his wedding band ring, yeah, Lashley would pop up on the screen in a fancy restaurant eating food alongside with Lana and would say, "You don't know what Lana wants, and I'm the one who's gonna give it to her," for Rusev to actually storm off and say that he knows exactly where they are and he's gonna deliver his message to Lashley and Lana personally. And this would lead to about a, hour and 30-minute wait of where Rusev found the location of this restaurant to lead, in my opinion, one of the most boring restaurant fights I've ever seen, where Rusev would only be able to get 2 shots on Lashley, then choke him while he's on the ground, only to get separated and sent to jail in the Cleveland prison house. Now, I'm not sure if that's the exact name of the prison, but either way, Lana would be cheering on the cops to send Rusev to jail along with Bobby Lashley. So once again, Rusev embarrassed by Lana and Lashley. Will this come back to haunt Lana and Lashley come Saudi Arabia? Chances are, but we won't know about it due to time zone regulations. And besides those time zone regulations that will take place in the future, folks, the next match to take place on Monday Night Raw would be none other than Andrade Cien Almas going one-on-one against Sin Cara, making his return to Monday Night Raw after several months' absence. And apparently, according to the Maestro, he was not a member of the Lucha House Party. Always thought he was, really did. But besides that, folks, during this match, action will go back and forth, including Sin Cara coming back in rare form by not only pulling off a moonsault to the outside of the ring, and even a very impressive suicide dive rope flip plancha to Andrade to the outside of the ring. But unfortunately for him going to the outside of the ring that many times, with Zelina Vega at ringside, you knew she was gonna pay dividends, and she did. Because the second when Andrade got shoved back into the ring by Sin Cara, there was Zelina Vega right there to pull off a beautiful Hurricane Rana or a Frankensteiner, depending on what side of the business you're on, for her to throw him back into the ring, and for Andrade to pick up the scraps with his double knee face buster in the corner and his hammerlock DDT, for the return of Sin Cara to be, como dice, ruined? Yeah, ruined thanks to Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega via pinfall. And after the return of Sin Cara was ruined by Andrade Cien Almas, the next match to take place on Monday Night Raw, if you can count it, would be none other than R-Truth going one-on-one against Sunil Singh for the 24/7 championship. And the only reason this took place, folks, would be because R-Truth, who was sneaking throughout the building without the help of Carmella to watch his back, to constantly keep an eye on the back of his head, trying to make sure that nobody tries to take that championship away from him. And he would run into none other than Sunil Singh, who would promise to actually sing him a Bollywood song and help him with his movie career, only for Sunil Singh to actually pin him for the championship. And we're being told that his brother Samil was the one who distracted him for Sunil to pin him for the championship. And we were just about as confused as R-Truth, who said, "I must be seeing double, but I could have sworn there was 2 of them." And would find out later on that night when he tried to pin Samil that he pinned the wrong Bollywood brother for that said championship, and both of them would run away, and he would say, "Why, yeah, there was 2 of them." Which reminded me automatically of Tweety from the Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries, or Looney Tunes altogether, when he said, "I thought I tore a putty cat." I did tore a putty cat. You gotta love R-Truth, a 20-time champion, but you gotta love him. And besides the silliness of R-Truth, we would once again get a backstage promotion from the Authors of Pain saying that the only reason they were traded to Monday Night Raw is to avoid a trade war with SmackDown, and would say that no man is ready to fight against the Authors of Pain. But I really do hope they get inside the ring once again, but how would they be able to do it? I don't know. Hoping they would go against the Viking Raiders, because that would be a hoss fight I would love to see. And speaking of the Viking Raiders, folks, the next match to take place on Monday Night Raw would feature none other than the Viking Raiders going one-on-one against the Major Brothers themselves, Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. And during this match, Hawkins and Ryder would definitely put up one grand of a fight by not only doing a missile dropkick that Zack Ryder was able to pull off on Eric during the said contest, only for the Viking Raiders to strike back by throwing him into the corner as hard as they could, but then they would fight back once again by pulling off a Russian leg sweep STO combination for near fall. And after that would be the last bit of offense that they would be able to pull off. And if you want to know what happened next in this match, if you remember the weeks after when the Hawkins and Riders lost the championship belts and fought against the Viking Raiders, same thing. Suicide dive to the outside of the ring, cartwheels, makeshift senton in the corner, and a Viking experience to Hawkins that he would never forget, for the team of the Viking Raiders to still be undefeated and win this match via pinfall. And the sad part about all this is before this match could even kick off, they would say that they were happy for this big opportunity to fight against them and to be a part of that big tag team match that will take place in Saudi Arabia. Because there's a World Cup thing they're going to have to declare the best tag team in the world. Right. And the next thing to take place on Monday Night Raw, besides more news from Saudi Arabia's pay-per-view that they're gonna have on Halloween, would see none other than Rey Mysterio telling everybody out there for the outpouring support of love for their family makes them his family now. Only for none other than Paul Heyman to interrupt by saying, if you think that Cain Velasquez is gonna be Brock Lesnar, you got another thing coming, cause for the past 9 years, Brock Lesnar has been salivating and dreaming of this moment to get his revenge against Cain Velasquez after the mark he left on his eye and the blemish he left on his record in UFC. Only for Rey Mysterio to interrupt him, say something in Spanish that I did not write down, and then for Shelton Benjamin of all people to pop up to say that Brock Lesnar is his family, after he was the one who trained Brock Lesnar back in school in Minnesota, only for him to say, oh, maybe if I push you around, I'll get a world title shot too. And just kept pushing and shoving until none other than Cain Velasquez himself would pop out and decide to take care of Shelton Benjamin with not only a belly to back takedown, but also would choke him out in the center of the ring, for Cain Velasquez to once again come to the aid of Rey Mysterio. And it makes me wonder, I'm pretty sure he was supposed to get in a fight with Killer Kross, but I got a feeling with this match and the tag team match that will take place on November 30th between Cain Velasquez, Rey Mysterio, Brock Lesnar, and Shelton Benjamin in Mexico, yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. But here's hoping it does, because after the things that Killer Kross said, he really is starting to sound a little bit like the Wrath of Khan with it, and I really want to see it happen. But besides Killer Kross and his mission to take on Cain Velasquez in a ring, the next thing to take place on Monday Night Raw would be Seth Rollins going one-on-one against newcomer to Monday Night Raw, Humberto Carrillo. And during this match, with Seth Rollins having to explain his actions of what he did during the Firefly Funhouse, only for Humberto Carrero to actually call out Seth Rollins for this match to happen, action would go back and forth during this match, and would see Humberto Carrero pulling off some cool 205 moves, including what I thought was a makeshift arm drag, but turned out to be a modified version of a Spanish fly to take out Seth Rollins during this match, and even pull off an outside dive and a beautiful moonsault to take out the Beast Slayer, only to realize it's gonna take a lot more than that to take out Seth Metal, and Seth Rollins will come back on the offensive by not only pulling off a beautiful buckle bomb and an Avada Kedavra during this match for near fall. And this match will come to an end again after the second moonsault that Humberto Carrero would try to do would come up short, only for Seth Rollins to capitalize with a kick to the gut and a blackout to Humberto Carrero's Monday Night Raw debut for Seth Rollins to win this match via pinfall. And after the match was over, Seth Rollins would give a handshake to Humberto Carrero as a form of respect for his wonderful performance in the ring during that said match. And oh, I almost forgot, he was able to kick out of the Falcon Arrow, aka the Deal, and according to New Legacy Inc., nobody kicks out of the Deal, but Humberto Carrero did, so what does that say about him? But besides that beautiful move of the Falcon Arrow that used to be done by Hardcore Holly back in the late 90s and early 2000s, the main event of the evening would see none other than the OC's Gallows and Anderson going one-on-one against the debuting main event first match on Monday Night Raw, Street Profits. And I find it funny, the first match that the Street Profits has as a tag team fighting on Monday Night Raw would be in the main event. But they would prove that they deserved that main event spot after not only the OC would make fun of them for not having a third member on their side during this match, but would also be able to withstand the beating of Gallows and Anderson during this match, even with constant interference from the Phenomenal One, because AJ Styles would be able to push off Montez Ford off the top rope into a waiting arms of Anderson for him to do a double-A spine buster for near fall, but unfortunately would get his hands caught in the cookie jar after trying to bring Montez Ford back inside the ring after Luke Gallows decided to drag out Angelo Dawkins during this said contest. And then when the referee was about to throw out AJ Styles for this match, none other than the new draftee to Monday Night Raw KO Kevin Owens would come to the aid of the Street Profits and give a stone cold stunner to none other than AJ Styles. And while the members of the OC were distracted, that's when the members of the Street Profits would kick it into high gear, with Montez Ford doing his rope flip plancha over the ropes at the same time tagging in Angelo Dawkins for him to do a sky high to Luke Gallows, and then for Montez Ford to once again fly through the air by doing his very impressive high flying frog splash to get the 3 count and the win in the main event on Monday Night Raw via pinfall. And after the match was over, the Street Profits would come in the same way they left, in the crowd celebrating with an after party with all the fans there in Cleveland, and even celebrating with a baby before Monday Night Raw would go off the air for this week. And I'm not kidding, folks, they actually had a baby in their hands celebrating with the song, which I thought was pretty cool. And the fact that the mother allowed it, pretty cool. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for us to go ahead and grab a glass of water, and when we return, we will continue with more of the Tuesday Night Special right after this. So don't fall asleep just yet, folks, and stay tuned.